Starting this edition with some breaking news now coming in. Massive impact of the relentless coverage of the tragic death of the 27-year-old. In fact, the Noida Authority CEO has finally been removed. Earlier today, the inaction on the part of the Noida authorities as far as the young life that was basically lost. A junior engineer earlier was basically suspended, rather terminated from services by the authorities. Now finally, the crackdown coming in after the SIT has been formed by Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath. A massive impact taking place with Noida Authority CEO being removed. This after Republic reports essentially suggesting that despite multiple complaints that were filed by residents of Sector 150 of Noida about streetlights not being present, there was very little action that was basically taken by the Noida authorities. In fact, from some of the videos that we have basically accessed, indicates that there was the authorities actually reached the spot to carry out the rescue operation without actually having any such equipment in place. In fact, we're going to play out all the details of the story in a short while from now. First, let me go across to my colleague Saurav, who's joining us from Sector 150, getting us the latest details. Finally, action being taken, Saurav, with regards to the role of the CEO. In fact, you spoke to him earlier today.
Yeah, absolutely, Shravan. Noida Authority CEO has been sacked. Lokesh M was his name, and he was sacked by the official. He was sacked from his position, according to the sources. I'm present at the spot currently, and you can see there are no street lights, there are no reflectors, there are no signage, because of which a 27-year-old accused ran straight through the pit and drowned in it. There are no accountability. Earlier this morning, when we had a word with the additional CEO, Satish Pal. Now, we have finally seen some action again from the government side over this horrifying incident. UP Chief Minister has also formed an SIT of 3 members, and he also took the cognizance of the matter, and they also have to submit their report in 5 days. Back to you.
Saurav, I just want you to take us through the details coming in with regards to the SIT that has been formed. I'm also told another breaking news now coming in. ADG of Meerut Zone will in all likelihood be heading the 3-member SIT team. What more details are you getting right now? What would be the focus of the investigation?
The focus of the investigation will be who is at fault, who are responsible, who ignored the complaints of the residents, who did not do their work properly, why there is a lack of infrastructure in such a posh claimed sector by the Noida Authority. Allegedly, the residents claim that here a flat cost 2.5 crores and still there are lack of streetlights, there are lack of reflectors. In dense fog, people cannot navigate to their homes. And that was the case with the 27-year-old techie. You can see here now the fog is less, but still you cannot see that there is a pit in front of you. This is the horrifying details of this sector. This sector is claimed a sports sector. In every society there is a sports facility, but there are no roads, there are no proper roads, there are no reflectors, there are no signages. So how this is a posh colony in Noida, how this is a smart city. Now, finally, UP CM has made a SIT, including the officials from higher post, and now we can see that what kind of angle they are investigating. The investigation will follow through, and then only the people will be held accountable.
Saurav, I just want you to stay on with us as we are now going to play out some of those complaints that were actually filed by the residents. My colleague Saurav getting his hands on these documents, which indicates that the Noida authorities were basically aware of the fact that not enough streetlights were present there. The fact that it was completely pitch dark, resulting in the 27-year-old actually falling into a pit and then drowning. That was also because there was nothing to actually indicate that that area was under construction. Now, what you see on your screens right now, these are multiple warning signs which seems to have now been ignored. The letter that has been addressed to the CEO. The question that many are asking, that if at all these complaints were filed, whether at all there was any acknowledgement from the Noida authorities. In fact, we have also got the acknowledgement letter, the acknowledgement which basically goes on to indicate that yes, the complaint was taken into cognizance, but on the ground it seems that no action was actually taken as far as streetlights are concerned. Signatures are concerned, signages are concerned. These are some of the details that we've basically picked up right now. On your screens, this is also with regards to the post-mortem report that has been filed, in which there is a clear indication that his chest was filled with 2 liters of water. The lungs were full of water. This comes as the first responder basically told us that the rescue operation was basically halted, or rather they could not carry on with the rescue operation because those who were supposed to perhaps carry out the rescue operation said that they cannot perhaps get inside simply because the water was freezing and the fact that they were unable to basically swim in the cold water. It also has been reported now by our team on the ground, where they have essentially indicated that on the day when this incident actually took place, minutes after the call that was made by the 27-year-old boy to his father, where he had pleaded for some help, and the father thereafter called the police. It seems that once the police actually reached, there wasn't enough equipment that they had at their disposal. Let me also bring in my colleague Saurav, who's going to take us through some of the documents that have been accessed. Saurav, I want to purely focus right now on the number of complaints that were actually filed and the acknowledgement that came in from the Noida authorities.
More than 10 complaints have been filed by the residents of the Tata Eureka Society regarding the lack of infrastructure, lack of basic facilities across the area. But only 2 were acknowledged by the authorities, and today, as we spoke with the additional CEO, Satish Pal, he told us that he doesn't know about even a single complaint that was filed by the residents. He told us that he has to look into it, he has to look into the matter and see that who has received the complaints and who will take action, who is the concerned officer, and then only they will investigate the matter, and then only they will take the action, a necessary action against them. 10 complaints were filed. In all the complaints, there were lack of street lights issue mentioned on the 30-meter road in front of the Tata Eureka Society. Reflectors were not installed by the Noida authority. That was also there. No signage, no proper signage to guide them to their home in dense fog. These are the details of the documents and the resident complaints which were filed and given to the Noida authority multiple times. But still, no action was taken by the Noida authority. And now finally, after this horrifying incident, someone was held accountable. Noida CEO Lokesh M was sacked as per sources. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Saurav, for getting us the latest details. Should we focus now to the other story that we've been tracking over the last few days? It's a disturbing story of silence and separation and suffering far away from home. More than a month has basically passed, and yet the families in India still do not know where their loved ones are, what condition they are in, or even why they are being held. Indian seafarers, men who went overseas to earn a living, are now being trapped in a foreign land behind bars with absolutely no contact and no clarity even. At least 15 Indian nationals were on board the oil tanker MT Valiant Roar, where it was intercepted at Iran's Bandar Abbas port. Now, what followed, families allege, was sudden, forceful and frightening. They say the vessel was stopped by Iran's Revolutionary Guard. Crew members were separated. Some were basically taken away. Others left behind on the ship. And since then, there's been radio silence. No phone calls, no official detention order, no information on the charges, no confirmation of health or safety. In fact, a petition has now been moved stating that 16 Indian nationals have been detained in the Islamic Republic of Iran for days. Now, in fact, over 30 days without any disclosure of grounds and without any formal detention order. Now, there's been also some development with the Indian embassy in Tehran confirming that it has been repeatedly pressing Iranian authorities for consular access through letters, meetings, and even at the level of the ambassador. The matter, in fact, is now under judicial process in Iran. But back home, families say 1 month is already too long to wait in the dark. Now, as diplomacy works behind closed doors, the human cost continues to grow every single day. We're going to put out this detailed report on the Indian seafarers trapped in Iran. And then, of course, we're also going to go across to those family members who have been trying to get some hold on what is exactly happening on the ground. We'll see if we have the report ready to play out, the report to give you a sense of what's really happening on the ground, because here, what is essentially becoming even more difficult for the family members is the fact that there is absolutely no communication that has really come in. In fact, on your screens right now, these are the images that you see of the crew members who have been taken into custody. We'll also be going across to the family members. And I just want a quick clarification if the report has actually come in. If the report is come in, and I'm told that the report is ready right now, let's play the report first, and then we'll go across to the guests who are joining us on this broadcast.
Indian seafarers trapped in Iran for over a month. At least 15 Indian crew members were detained after the oil tanker MT Valiant Roar was intercepted at Iran's Bandar Abbas port. Families of the Indian seafarers trapped in Iran have made a desperate appeal to the Ministry of External Affairs, seeking urgent diplomatic intervention. According to the family's appeal, the vessel, operated by Prime Tankers LLC Dubai, was intercepted by Iran's Revolutionary Guard on December 8, 2025. The ship had 17 to 18 crew members on board, including 15 to 16 Indian nationals. Families claim that on January 6, 2026, 10 crew members were taken into custody and shifted to prison by Iranian authorities. They say 6 to 7 crew members, including the captain, continue to remain on board the vessel for ship management. The families allege complete silence since then. No contact, no updates, no clarity.
16 जनवरी को जो हमारे भारत के राजदूत ईरान में प्रेस रिलीज़ किए थे जो है, उसका मैं सरासर खंडन करती हूँ, क्योंकि वो जो है कानूनी मामला नहीं है। जो है हमारे जहाज़ को हाईजैक किया गया था जो है, और उसमें जो है डीजल नहीं है, वो सल्फर आयल है उसमें जो है। और मैं अपने प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी से, अपने देश के यस जय
बोलो।
और मैं अपने प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी से, विदेश मंत्री एस जयशंकर से मैं बार बार यही विनती और निवेदन प्रार्थना करती हूँ कि हमारे 16 भारतीयों को जल्द से जल्द वहाँ से रिहा करा के इंडिया वापस लाएंगे।
They say that there is no official information on the crew's location, health condition, legal status or the charges they may be facing.
एक शिप है वेलियंट रोर नाम करके, उस जहाज़ पे मेरे बड़े भैया मसूद आलम काम करते हैं। उस जहाज़ को इंटरनेशनल वाटर दुबई के पास से ईरानी नेवी वालों ने हाईजैक करके लेकर चले गए हैं। उनसे बात किए हुए 20 दिन से भी ज़्यादा हो गया है। हमारे प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी से हाथ जोड़कर अपील है, और डॉक्टर जयशंकर जी से भी हाथ जोड़कर अपील है कि मेरे भैया को जल्द से जल्द घर वापस बुलाया जाए।
Images accessed by Republic also show gunshots, disarray on the vessel. In a major development, the Indian embassy in Tehran has confirmed that it has been repeatedly pressing Iranian authorities for consular access to the detained Indians. The Consulate of India in Bandar Abbas wrote to Iranian authorities on December 14th seeking consular access. That request, the MEA says, has been repeated multiple times through diplomatic communication and in-person meetings, including at the level of the Indian ambassador. The mission also intervened to ensure food, water and fuel supplies for the ship and arranged emergency provisions when stocks began to run dangerously low in early January. The Indian government has confirmed that the matter is now under judicial process in Iran, but says that it continues to press for early consular access and expeditious legal proceedings. As families wait anxiously back home, the spotlight is now firmly on diplomacy and on India's push to bring its citizens safely back.
Well, the owner of this particular vessel, which was intercepted at Bandar Abbas port, happens to be someone based in UAE. In fact, family members say that there has been very little response that has actually come in from the company itself. I'm just going to quickly take you through the route that was basically taken and what was the purpose of the journey itself. The vessel was basically stationed at the outer port limits on the 28th of November at OPL Diba, UAE. They were preparing to sail to Khor Fakhan in UAE. That was essentially the plan. It is the Iranian Navy that seized the vessel at Bandar-e-Jask on 8th of December 2025, and the vessel was taken to Bandar-e-Jask, where I'm given to understand where the crew members were basically taken away by the Iranian Revolutionary Guards. And it turns out that there has been absolutely no communication whatsoever really coming in from the IRGC with regards to why exactly were the Indian crew members taken off from the vessel and thereafter taken into custody. In fact, joining us on this broadcast is Vinod Kumar, captain of Vijay Kumar's brother, who's joining us on this broadcast, and Rituraj Singh is also joining us on this broadcast. His father has been taken into custody. Vinod, as well as Rituraj, thank you very much for speaking to Republic TV. I want to ask you, Vinod, with regards to what is the latest that you've heard from the Ministry of External Affairs? Last, when we spoke, you said that the matter is going to be taken up in the court. It seems a date has now been given. Any further update coming in from your brother? Did you manage to speak to him?
Hi, thank you for bringing this to the notice again. Thank you so much. I would like to highlight at the moment, we still have no idea what is happening. The next hearing date in the Honorable High Court of India is 21st of this month. So then I believe the day after tomorrow. There definitely the High Court have asked some update on what exactly is what is the center stand in this. At the moment, I have not heard anything positive from the vessel side. The vessel, as I said, it is on 16th. The press statement released by the ambassador of Tehran, ambassador of India in Tehran, they said that it is going to be subjudicial, which I totally cannot understand why. It is a straightway hijack, which I could see from international waters. And the vessel has been taken forcefully without any fault of theirs. They don't have any such cargoes. They don't have any link with Iran. The vessel has not been to Iran. The vessel was in international waters. They were not carrying any kind of operation in Iranian waters. The operation was being carried out in UAE waters or outer port limits of the UAE waters. Still, Iranian Coast Guards and Iranian Navy, they come, they attack the vessel, they hijack the vessel and take it back to the Iran. And then ultimately, after that, we say that it is subjudicial. I really don't know why. This point
Right.
of what our ambassador
So you are saying
is
that
saying,
even it's been almost over 30 days. Rituraj, let me also bring you in. When was the last you spoke to your father? And do you have any idea as to why he has been taken into custody?
Sir, the last time I spoke with my father was 8th of January when he was taken to jail. They gave him the phone for only like 1 or 2 minutes to tell the family that they were taken to jail and to pressurize the government from our side. And from there onwards, there has been no update of my father, where he was taken or how is his condition, where is he being treated rightfully, or is he being harassed. No such information. And the latest government statement was the the Indian embassy, which is in Tehran, on 16th of January. They stated that the situation is already going to be subjudicial and already going to be jail, which should not be happening, because the ship, as Mr. Vinod sir said, the ship was hijacked. It is not a legal procedure to go into subjudicial.
Vinod, if I may ask you with regards to what was the vessel really carrying? Do you have any details of the shipment, the details of where it was perhaps being dropped, any further details? Because that would give us some clarity as to why exactly would the Iranians suddenly be up in arms.
Yeah, the vessel was carrying very low sulfur fuel oil. And this cargo is such, it basically freezes in this moment. If anybody goes, that is why I have sent documents. I have sent the delivery notes which the vessel loaded. I have sent a sampling analysis report to the MEA as well as the embassy in Iran. That this is the cargo which the vessel is being carrying, and this can be verified by the consular access. The council can go take a sample of the cargo. Anybody can distinguish between a diesel and a very low sulfur fuel oil. It's totally different. So it's not that it is not there. The cargo is there on board. You can go check the tanks, what the ship is carrying. And I have produced them the documents related to that. But still, and the cargo was loaded from another vessel that was Coral Wave, motor tanker Coral Wave. That vessel, the vessel has done ship-to-ship operations with that ship, loaded that, and they were waiting for the instructions where to take the vessel. So at the moment, the discharge port of the vessel was still unknown. The vessel was supposed to go to Khor-Fakkan for some repairs on the anchor. They were having issues because they were not able to heave up the anchor. So the vessel was from the OPL port limit of Dibba. The vessel was supposed to go to Khor-Fakkan anchorage. There they would have carried out some repairs on their anchor block, and after that some repairs on their engines, and then they would have got some orders to proceed to discharge this cargo.
Right.
At the moment, and in between that itself, as soon as the vessel was unmoored from that empty Coral Wave, the vessel was intercepted by Iranian Navy and fired upon. For the reasons I really cannot believe.
So you're saying that there was a firing that took place, but that's another important detail you're sharing. The IRGC opened fire on the crew members?
That's correct. It was the firing has taken place on the vessel. I have shared some photos with you. There was some firing on the vessel to stop the vessel.
Rituraj, I just want to quickly bring you in because the owner of this particular vessel happens to be a company which is based out of UAE. As I understand, we've also tried connecting with them. We've got no response as yet. Rituraj, what is it that the company has to say? Because they are equally responsible for it.
Sir, the last response from company was indirectly through a manager of their company that stated that they have hired an advocate in Iran for all this legal proceeding, but from there onwards, where has this been going, we have no idea.
Well, Rituraj as well as Vinod, thank you very much for joining us on this broadcast. A story that we'll keep tracking very closely till the time that there is some solution that comes in. We're also getting at some more breaking news now coming in. This is from Kabul, where we have been told that there is an explosion that has taken place, and reports coming in that the target of today's explosion was in Kabul's Sharinau area, and Chinese citizens were essentially being targeted, and this is what some reports are now coming in. There is also a response coming in from Kabul Security Command. Khalid Zadran, who is the spokesperson there, he's now confirmed that an explosion has taken place, and the teams have launched multiple inquiries into what was the nature of the explosion. So far, no details coming in with regards to whether at all there have been any casualties, but Afghan media essentially reporting that Chinese citizens were the target. Now that's what Afghan media is reporting on your screens right now. These are the latest images now coming in. Sharina also happens to be a diplomatic enclave. Most of the embassies are in this particular area where this explosion has taken place. No one has taken responsibility of the explosion that has taken place in Kabul. This is in the heart of the city where this explosion has taken place. So far, no word on the casualties as yet. A developing story with something that we'll keep a track on. As of now, what we can confirm is that the explosion took place earlier today in Sharinau area in Kabul. Well, that's all that we could pack in this edition of This Is Exclusive. Coming up, trending on the other side.